Good day, I am Meika Angela Aquino from BS Cream 2 Eco, and now I will going to discuss my presentation, which is aims of the La Liga Filipina and why Rizal established, and problems of forcing unity during Rizal's time, and lastly how the La Liga Filipina showed Rizal practical leadership.
Aims of the La Liga Filipina. First, to unite the whole archipelago into one vigorous and homogeneous organization. Rizal wanted to have a unified members who are geared towards liberating the country, but again the League does not want a violent revolution. They wanted a peaceful revolution through the different activities of the La Liga Filipina. Second, mutual protection in everyone and necessity. Because as soon as you become a member of League, you are protected with all the different policies within the League. Third, defense against all violence and injustice. Considering that the 19th century of biases and apprehension to the Filipinos, and the La Liga thought that it is a civic platform that would help the Filipinos be defended against the different versions of apprehension in the community. Fourth, encouragement of instruction, agriculture, and commerce. With the League was created, there were also issues with land situation, especially in Calamba, and because of this League, through the help of they were able to contribute to the recommendations as to what should be done in the farming situation in Calamba, and they were able to give recommendations such as moves of the processed taxes coming from the lands were not really used for the improvement of the country, but these were all used by the priors, and the priors did not contribute to the development of the towns in the La Solaridad. Focus on writing the La Liga Filipina, focus applying these theories to the civic activities in the Philippines. Fifth, study the application of reforms. Because they are not anymore about duties and writing the deplorable conditions, they wanted to take part of the change that should be done in the Philippines, just like the La Solaridad and propaganda movement. Why again? The La Liga Filipina ended. Why did Rizal, or why did they establish from the propaganda movement of the Ilustrados, led by Dr. Jose Rizal, Marcelo H. Del Pera, and Cristiano Lopez Aina? They organized the propaganda movement, which was a peaceful crusade for reforms. When the Ilustrados came to Spain, they realized that there are lots of privileges that are not accorded to the Filipinos in the Philippines with their very regular-minded education in Spain. They began to understand that if the Spaniards and Filipinos in Spain has that kind of freedom and independence, why not apply it in the Philippines? The problems of forging unity during Rizal's time. There are lots of injustice happening in the Philippines that these Spaniards that failed to see and failed to remedy from the 19th century. There is no equality between Filipinos and Spaniards. The Filipinos were not called Filipinos back then, but Indio, the general term for people who are being discovered, which if you are black-skinned Platinos Filipino, then you are a fear in the eyes of law. The Filipinos in this time were unfortunate victims of the evils of an unjust bias and the deteriorating power. These are: first, instability of colonial administration. This political instability in Spain adversely affected Philippine affairs because it brought about frequent periodic shift in colonial policies and periodic reguddon of colonial officials. Second, corrupt colonial officials. They were either highly corrupt, incompetent, cruel, or venal. Third, no Philippine representation in Spanish Cortes. Fourth, human rights denied the Filipinos. Since the adoption of the Spanish Constitution of 1812 and other constitution in succeeding years of the people of Spain enjoyed freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of association, and other human rights except for freedom of religion. The Spanish authorities who cherished these human rights in Spain denied them to the Filipinos in Asia. Fifth, no equality before the law. Spaniards arrogantly regarded the brown-skinned Filipinos as inferior, being Spaniards' penal code, which was a force in the Philippines, particularly in both never penalties on native Filipinos or mestizos, and the lighter penalties on white complexion Spaniards. 6. Maladministration of justice. The hearts of justice in the Philippines during result time were notoriously corrupt. Justice was costly, partial, and slow. Wealth, social prestige, and color of skin were preponderant factors in winning a case in court. The judicial procedure was so slow and clumsy that it was easy to have justice delay. 7. Racial discrimination. Filipinos as inferior beings who are infinitely undeserving of the rights and privileges that the white Spaniards enjoy. Spaniards called the brown-skinned and flat-nosed Filipinos Indios. In relation, the Filipino dumped their people complexion tractors with the disparaging term bangus or milkfish. 8. Freilocracy. The friars, Agustinians, Dominicans, and Franciscans controlled the religions of educational life of the Philippines, and later in the 19th century they came to acquire tremendous political power, influence, and riches. Almost every town in archipelago except an Islamic Mindanao and Sulu in pagan hinterlands was ruled by a far-jurate. 9. Forced labor. Known as polo compulsory labor, impressed by the Spanish colonial authorities on adult Filipino males in the construction of churches, schools, hospitals, building and repair of roads and bridges, building of ships and other public works. 10. Haciendas owned by the French. During result times, the Spanish friars belonging to different religious order were the richest landlords, for they owned the best haciendas or agriculture land in the Philippines. And the last, the Guardia Civil. They later become infamous for the rampant abuse, such as maltreating innocent people, losing their caramels, chickens, and valuable belongings, and raping women. Result himself witnessed the discrimination of how Guardia Civil, either Filipino or insulates the Filipinos. How the La Liga Filipina showed Rizal's practical leadership. From the Ilustrados, specifically Rizal, they waged their movement by means of pen and tongue. The exposed defeats of Spanish rule in the Philippines and the urgency of reform to remedy them, like in the case of Calamba. When the La Liga Filipino was created, there are issues with the situation in Calamba, and with this league, through the help of Rizal, they were able to contribute the recommendations as to what should be done in the farming situation in Calamba, and that is how the La Liga Filipina showed Rizal practical leadership.